everyone. As the project of global intercultural communication, I will explain the movie The Translator and how the intercultural communication occurs. Now, before I start my presentation, this is the table of contents where it will follows the flow of my introduction, my analysis, the issues that I have gathered and analyzed, and then the consequences of the intercultural communication that happens, and also the solutions that I will giving my own from my own perspective. Now, my name is Maria Rosita Tumbalaka, and I will be the one that present my explanation of analysis and my own understanding of this movie. Now, I analyzed the cultural identity. How is cultural identity represented and negotiated in the movie? And how does cultural identity influence communication and influence outcomes? Now, the representation of language as identity maker. It can be seen by the characters. Claire as a foreign exchange student from France who others think she can only speak French, another who uses local language English, and the other as the mediator, who is able to speak both language and act as a bridge of communication. The negotiation is shown by the translator as cultural bridge and connector. The film uses the translator role to show negotiation of identity. Translators in real life often negotiate norms, politeness, and frames. Rachel does this explicitly by altering the message she conveys. Rachel actively constructs how Claire is perceived and how Ben is perceived by Claire. That's negotiation and action. Now, how cultural identity shapes communication strategies. Code switching and register. Rachel switches and register and content depending on which identity she wants to foreground, romantic rival versus as a helpful friend. Because Claire is an outsider, Rachel can exploit the conversation between the two for her own benefit. This creates the outcome of because miscommunication. Now let's move on to the issues that I have seen. Now, these are the characters from the movie. We have Rachel as the translator, Ben as the one who uses local English, and then there is Claire, who is the foreign exchange student from France who speaks French. Now, the first issues is the language barrier. There is a large gap between Ben and Claire, who are trying to communicate with each other with their own language, which is English and French. Now, according to intercultural communication theory, language access equals participation and agency. Because Rachel controls the message, she controls how identities and intentions are constructed. They will also depend on the translator because they can only communicate by Rachel giving the meaning of each other's message and how they talk and what they are talking about. Now, in here, Claire is perceived as others, who is someone who is not from here. They are sometimes treated as someone who doesn't belong here, and it's like an exotic thing for people, local people. Now, the misuse of power here is because Rachel here isn't as honest and transparent by the conversation she's translating, deflecting the true meaning. And because Claire is identity is treated as something romantic and also exotic, it makes Rachel feel threatened because Ben likes Claire and she wants to sabotage the conversation so that Ben would slowly lose his feelings to Claire. Now, what are the consequences? Now, the unsuccessful consequences is the misinterpretation of intentions and emotions. This creates cultural distance instead of mutual understanding. Rachel said that Claire is a lot of bad terms, according to Ben. However, Rachel told Ben how Claire responds from his compliments, deflecting the true meaning of what have been said but by the two person by each other. Now the limited successful outcomes is that communication technically occurs where messages are exchanged. It does goes really well and it goes with the flow where they don't really have like a they don't really have much of distraction because they are talking directly with each other. And this is the limited successful outcomes because they are talking normally and successfully. Now, what are the solutions? Rachel should have been transparent about her message and she should be a good person for it. And the two of them should increase the cultural awareness because Rachel uh, is in a tight spot as the translator and also as a friend who is trying to connect the two of them. So that is all for my analysis. I hope that it is really easy to understand between the cultural identity and the communication that happens in this movie. Thank you so much.